found a GPS tracker hidden under the bottom of my car, so I instantly filed a police report and was told it was registered under my landlord's name. My boyfriend and I were getting the spare tire unmounted from the bottom of my car when he discovered a circular magnetic device attached to the lip of the bumper. We initially couldn't tell what it was, but after a few Google searches we discovered that it was a land-air-sea tracking device. When we found out about this we were obviously worried, but I was especially worried because I had been stalked and attacked by an ex in November of last year. Thinking it belonged to him, we filed a police report and had them find out who the owner of the tracker was. To our surprise, the tracker was purchased by our landlord of about 3 years. Apparently he has been checking our location periodically and the device was active when we found it. It came as a huge shock to us because he seemed like a genuinely good person who has a family and who even helped us install floodlights and curtains to our home after I was attacked. The police have been trying to contact him to get some answers, but he has not returned their calls. Other than feeling unsafe in our own home, we also feel like it was a huge invasion of privacy and honestly a breach of trust. Again, our rapport with him seemed good and he seemed like a family man, so we just want to know what the future of our housing situation is going to be. I live in Oregon, so I know that there can be a case made in criminal court. My main question is, would I be able to sue him? Update. As some commenters guessed, it was my unhinged ex who actually attached the GPS tracker to my car. The police showed me that the GPS tracker was registered under my landlord's name, but it soon became very clear that my ex had used my landlord's identity when he registered the tracker to try and cover his tracks, and he almost got away with it. The cops showed up to my landlord's home and essentially interrogated him about the situation. Obviously my landlord had nothing to hide, so he answered their questions, and allowed them to search his wallet for any associated credit cards and his phone for any associated numbers. He obviously came up clean, and that's when the real investigation started. The tracker was linked to a track phone that my ex must have been using as a burner phone. It also requires you to make monthly payments via credit card, but he would use a prepaid Visa that had no name or identity associated with it. Thankfully, the police officer investigating the case took every avenue to catch him, which included setting up a mini sting operation. Long story short, he was arrested for identity theft and illegally affixing a GPS monitor to my car. Both can be considered a felony since I had a protective order against him. The process of arresting him and indicting him was no walk in the park though. They gave him the opportunity to turn himself in instead of being arrested by an officer or being picked up. Well, when he realized the trouble he was in, he checked himself into a mental hospital, which was a loophole for him to not be taken into custody, and which meant a mountain of paperwork, and work for the DA's office to get charges seen before a grand jury. My experience going through the DA's office could be a whole other thread, but I will spare you the details. The grand jury eventually indicts him on both counts and I await a trial. That should be the end of the story, right? Wrong. Not even 2 months after he is indicted, I see him outside my house. I was driving home from a date night with my boyfriend, and we took a different road than we would normally take home because we saw some cute ducks in a neighbor's yard, so it caused us to take a detour. Well, thankfully we detoured that day, because as we were about to rear the corner of the road we live on, we saw him. It was broad daylight and he wasn't even trying to hide his identity, it seemed like. In fact, he just looked like a normal guy walking around the neighborhood. At first I thought I was just seeing things because I didn't think he would be that careless to be that close to my house after everything. He had a no-contact order against him that requires he not be within 500 feet of my home or vehicle, which he was within. As we turn the corner and I start noticing him, he notices us and immediately turns himself so his back facing us and just kind of pauses, acting like he's looking at something, probably hoping we don't notice that it's him. I tell my boyfriend to stop the car, and when we stop he starts speed walking the opposite direction of where our car was headed. We circled back around to verify that it was him, but at that point he had disappeared into the bushes. We slowly start to head back towards the road we live on, trying to see if we can spot him. As we keep going, he pops out of the bushes about 10 feet ahead of us, makes direct eye contact with us, and then starts sprinting up the road. We headed to his direction to try and get pictures of him. We were able to get 2 blurry pictures of him, but probably not enough to verify completely that it was him. I filed a police report and talked to his parole officer about what happened. The parole officer had him come in and get a GPS monitor anklet pending investigation. I also reached out to the cop that helped me with the GPS tracker and assault case. He helped me go to every neighbor's house and ask for video evidence of a creepy stalker ex. Some neighbors didn't answer, other places didn't have anything, but the place with the bushes? They had a picture and video of him clear as day crouching in their bushes. Needless to say, he is currently in jail facing multiple charges against him.